Well, hey, and welcome to the video. So today I want to take a look at the Quad Cortex and my 3 most used tones. So these are tones that I generally use on the live show. I play primarily country music, so it's not super metal overdriven sounds, it's mostly pertaining to modern country. So I want to take a look at how I use these specific tones and give you an idea of what they sound like. Let's take a look. Alright, so let's dig into the first one here. This one I've called Morgan Tele, and essentially it uses a Morgan Captain 50 amp, as you can see here. So all these presets I will have linked in the description box, so if you want to try them out on your Quad Cortex, they'll be there for you free of charge. And I will just quickly go through how they sound. So my main sound, that was the one I was playing in the intro. I have a trem on this one. I don't usually use a trem all the time, but the main clean sound sounds like this. So as you can tell, there's a little bit of grit or overdrive on that. So that's my basic clean preset for that. If you want a bit more drive, I've got a crunch. And that I would basically use for a little bit more, saturation. It's a little bit tighter, and there's a little bit of delay as well. You can hear that at the end. The third one here that I have set in the scenes is my trem. And this one's definitely become one of my favorites. I really love having trem on, especially for some of the, I cover a bit of Tyler Childers, and, even Chris Stapleton, stuff like that. If you're playing that, the trem adds a lot, especially if you're the only guitar player. And then as you can see, I have lead channels for the other presets. So lead clean. I use clean kind of in quotations because there's still definitely a bit of grit on there. And it literally is just a lead boost over my clean. And lead distortion. I don't really use that one. I think I had some other pedal in there as well that I was adding more distortion. But essentially you can see the changes here when you cycle through. That's my lead clean, and then lead distortion adds in 808 overdrive. Now I have a lead mid gain. This is basically, this is the one that I use mostly when I go for a solo. And as you can tell, I've got some delay on that. That's essentially just a tape delay, and those I've set up to change with the different scenes as well. Mid gain plus just adds a little bit more saturation, and also a little bit more obviously mid. And then I got a fuzz lead. I don't use fuzz very often, but it is kind of cool every now and then. And that's the essential, my essential preset there. In stomp mode, I don't really use stomp mode at all with this particular preset. I just use scenes. But stomp, that's what I have set up. There's a capture there and it just basically adds a little bit. Adds a little bit of distortion and also obviously a little bit of volume as well. Let's take a look here at the next one. So this is based, my next preset here, I'll give you a bit of an idea of what that sounds like. So as the name implies, it's based around a Hot Rod Deluxe. This is a really great capture that I found just on the Cortex Cloud. It's actually a neural DSP capture. It sounds great. There's obviously, if you see the 6v6-4, 4 is kind of just one of the iterations that they have. They have like 1 through 6, and it just basically is adjusting how hot the amp is and some other parameters. But the 4 is the one that I decided that I liked. And I have that matched to a 112 UK El Nico speaker. Again, this is available. I have the link in the description below. You can take this for free. This particular preset I use exclusively pretty much in stomp mode. It's kind of my Swiss Army pocket knife type of preset. So if I want, you know, a clean sound, that's essentially my that's essentially the clean sound there. And if I just want to add gain to that, if I'm going into a solo, there's just a gain boost, and then I can stack 2 different overdrives or distortion. And then my trem. And then also I have this set up, this Stomp D, to control 2 different delays. So basically if I want, the first one I have is a slapback, and the other one I have as a digital delay. So I can get some nice dotted eighths. Kind of idea. And yeah, that just is toggled back and forth. So as far as scenes go, these ones basically, as I said, I don't really use them a ton, or this one in scenes very often. And yeah, that's essentially, so they're obviously set up to different parameters. I have a couple of I have a gain here for just for the basic lead boost, and then this other utility corresponds to my expression pedal, which you can't see, it's off screen, but essentially it's just a volume control. How I have this set up on my board, I have another tuner because I don't love having to hold down this tuning button to access the tuner. Hopefully they will fix that. But I essentially set up all of my presets with this utility gain, and then set it to expression, and then I can control volume. So I go heel down, and then I can tune very quickly with my tuner that I have on my board. And that's the basic Hot Rod Deluxe sound. As I said, this is one of my go-tos for sure, especially if I'm not creating a set list. This one's great because it's kind of a Swiss Army pocket knife. You've got kind of a bit of everything there. The other trick I have here is a Graphic 9, and again, I've added this to most of my presets as well. Basically, I'm cutting out essentially a little bit of 4K and a little bit of 2K. You can see that respectively there. It essentially just kind of eliminates those higher frequencies that are a little bit annoying with the Tele, and that's particular to my playing as well. So that's how I have that set up. Okay, so let's take a look at the third preset that I have. And this one I just labeled as Tele. This one's a little bit more involved. As you can see, it's got some splits here. Now if you're interested, I have a video on how to use splits, the different parameters. There's a little bit more to it that I think the original Neural DSP video leaves out, and I hope that I've clarified it in that video. But it basically goes through what all the different parameters mean and how to properly use them. But this is the basic preset here. So this one I do use in scene mode for the most part. Here's my clean sound. So that's the clean there. Got a crunch scene. As you can see, I like a bit of saturation in terms of delays and reverbs. I wear in-ears a lot when I play, so I find that having a little bit of reverb and delay on really helps get the amp in the room feel for me. So this essentially is a Victor Marshall. It's a Victory amp, so Victory 22 watt, and I have that paired to my 112. It's not mine, but the one I most commonly use, the 112 El Nico. Here we go. So here's. I also have a lead preset that has an octaver on it. Pretty subtle, but it definitely beefs things up if you're going to use, if you're going to have a bit of an octaver on it. For me anyway, I found that just having it kind of subtle, it adds a nice, it really thickens the sound, especially if you're playing on single coils like I am. And then I have some presets down here that basically have a little bit less reverb and delay. That's the clean. Here's the crunch. I pretty much always use either A or B for the most part. I don't really touch E or F that much. And then I have a couple of other lead tones, so this one has a bit more of a delay on it. This one will kind of use if it's more of a, not a super fast. If it's not a super chicken picking crazy solo, if it's a little bit more of a hit them in the feels type of solo, I'll use that one. And then this one is just a bit tighter of a delay. And it's just basically a gain boost. Again, with the actual blocks on the grid, I have a little bit of a parametric EQ just to shave off a little bit of high mids. And then I have my Graphic 9 again. That's pretty much set up the same way. It's minus 3 dB at 4K hertz, and then minus 1.8 at 2K. And then the only other one that's changed is 1K. And that's again just to eliminate a little bit of harshness from my particular guitar. Sound guys seem to like it. They always seem to scoop in that region, or or dip a little bit anyway, not scoop, but dip anyway, and that essentially is the preset. So I obviously have some delays. I have the noise reduction set up on each of the 3 presets to 30%. Now I find, so I came from the Kemper world, and I find that the noise reduction of the Quad Cortex at first, when I first got it, was a little bit harsh. It seemed to cut a lot, and I would lose some sort of some dynamics as well. But I find in the last series of updates, they've really changed that. So I tend to use the one that's built in, because I used to put a block in before the compressor, and now they've added it into the actual input. Alright, so I hope that kind of cleared up my 3 most commonly used tones and how I in particular use them. Obviously I use a little bit of scene mode, a little bit of stomp mode. When CoreOS 2.0 is going to be introduced, I will definitely be using hybrid mode, but for now that's my basic setup for my 3 go-to tones right now. Now, I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel and give this video a huge thumbs up. It really would help the channel out. And also give me a follow on the Cortex Cloud as well. I do upload presets every now and then, especially now that I'm making some more of these videos tailored exactly to the Quad Cortex. And thank you very much for watching, and we will see you on the next one. Take care.